Ladies and gentlemen, members and friends, it's Matt Bailey here, your branch director, talking about some of the goodies coming up on the first Friday of the month coming up for March Outturn. Outturn always lands on the first Friday of every month, except November Outturn, which we pushed a little bit later to make our big bumper issue. But of course, March is around the corner, and it's about new wave whiskies. It's about the Maverick women in whiskey. There's a few different things going on in this issue, but including new codes that we're seeing coming through, like 151, from Sweden with love, 151.4. Now, we didn't see 151.1, 2, or 3 in Australia. I'm guessing .1 and .2 were probably exclusive to Swedish members because they organised the casks for these. The .3 was probably split around the world, but we got a good split of the .4, a good allocation. Now, this is a Swedish whiskey, a first fill ex-bourbon barrel, distilled May 2008, 13-year-old, sweet, fruity and mellow, and a natural cask strength of 46.5%. Now, this is so uncommon. Most cask strength whiskies you see at the Society is, anywhere between 55 to 65% most of the time. Yes, we see some lovely low 50% sometimes, 51, 52% for some of the older whiskies, and we see some absolutely rip-roaring 67 to 69% ABV sometimes for some of those really sort of pungent first fill sherried whiskies we see from younger age statements. However, this is natural cask strength at 46.5, which is unusual and very exciting to see what that has turned into. It's not been watered down to that. It's actually naturally appeared to that, which is indicative of that sort of this style of this whiskey, of this distillery, and an insight into how they mature things and how they produce things. So Distillery 151, I won't say the name of the distillery. We like to keep that a bit quiet so we can maintain the mystique and the focus on the flavor rather than the brand. So this particular distillery was founded by a few mates. It was 4 of them all together at the beginning, who in around 1998 said, why don't we have Swedish whiskey? Why is no one really making Swedish whiskey? There's great Scotch whiskey, great Irish whiskey, etc. It's the same sort of, I guess, epiphany if you like, or epiphany as we like to say now. It's the same thing that would have happened in Tasmania around sort of in the early 90s when someone like your Bill Larks of the world went, why aren't we making whiskey in Tasmania? It's the same question. Why weren't they making whiskey? I was about to say Tassie. Why weren't they making whiskey in Sweden in 1998? And so they just worked it out. And now, today, this distillery is actually one of the most, the lowest carbon footprint distilleries in the world. And thanks to their unique sort of silo gravity system, which I won't go into right now. But I want to talk a little bit more about this whiskey and have just a small taste, nose and taste of it, especially something that's 13 years of age as well for a New World whiskey. So just think about that for a second as well. You've got a whiskey that is, in the New World landscape, most whiskies are quite young, like in that sort of realm of between 3 and 7 years of age, a lot of them. And this one is a little bit older. In fact, it's more than half the age of the distillery in one cask, which is kind of cool. It's like, it'd be like having a 100-year-old Ardbeg or something like that. It's a 13-year-old Swedish whiskey. Oh, it's immediately floral. It's so inviting. It's sweet. 46.5. There's no prickle on the nose. There's no sort of like, oh wow, that's big, because it's not big on the ethanol. It's nice and mid-proof, I'd say, at 46.5%. Natural cask strength as well. So it's obviously had a fair bit of angel share. It's had a lot of evaporative losses to the alcohol rather than to the water in the cask, which is kind of exciting to see how that's transformed this whiskey. It's floral. It's got like a flower note, like a cooking flour, baking flour, I should say, baking spices, like yellow sunflower seeds, bit of like brown sugar note in there, like a bit of meringue, brown sugar, white sugar, like brown biscuits, bit savory, but also nicely sweet and sort of, that's just lovely on the nose. Let's have a quick taste. That is just dangerously easy to drink. And I'm getting more of that sort of like biscuity floral note, which I just love to taste as well. It's the palate's even slightly herbal, like a herbal liqueur. sort of like, I guess, yeah, fresh spices, baking spices, as I said before. It's a little bit like a freshly baked bread as well. Now, after I've had a taste, I'm not compelled to add water to this, so I don't think it needs water, but I will just, I'll try it with water. I want to see how far I can take this. At 46.5%, it might just fall apart with even just a few drops, but I'll add a few drops and see how we end up. Actually, it takes water kind of well, on the nose at least. That's delightful. That is truly delightful, and an amazing insight into whiskey from another world, really, from another place entirely. I don't know how many of you have had unpeated single cask Swedish whiskey before, but I encourage you to jump on something like this if you're interested in seeing how an innovative distillery has really broken the mold and produced its own style of Scandinavian whiskey that we've not seen before at the Society. So our exploration into flavour continues, our Maverick year continues, and March Outturn is around the corner. I encourage you to take a look at 151.4 from Sweden with love, and that's from me with love, SMWS. I'll see you soon, and dip into March Outturn and have a see what else we've got reviewed on our YouTube channel, and keep up to date with us through your emails and through Facebook, etc. Take care, bye for now.